Speak, ladies and gentlemen. Every dream begins with possibility, but not every dream becomes reality. The difference is rarely talent, intelligence, or luck. More often, the difference is excuses. Excuses are quiet. They don't endapos usually sound negative. They sound reasonable. Unquote endapos, I'll start tomorrow. Unquote endapos, I'm too busy. Unquote I need better timing. Unquote endapos, waiting for the right opportunity. Unquote. These words feel harmless, but over time they become invisible chains that hold you back from the life you were meant to create. The dangerous thing about excuses is that they protect your comfort while stealing your future. They convince you that staying where you are is safer than taking the risk of growth. They whisper that failure is something to avoid instead of something to learn from. And while you endapos, waiting for perfect conditions, someone else with fewer resources but greater determination is already moving forward. Your dreams, dawn and a post, require perfection. They require action. Every successful person has faced fear, uncertainty, rejection, and failure. What separates them is nandapos, that they had fewer obstacles. Itandapos, that they refused to let those obstacles become permanent excuses. They made decisions based on where they wanted to go, not on how they felt in the moment. Think about the future version of yourself. That person is counting on the choices you make today. Every excuse delays the life you want. Every small action brings it closer. The question is nandapos, whether the road will be difficult. It will be. The question is whether your dreams matter enough for you to keep walking anyway. Stop negotiating with your excuses. They will always have another reason for you to wait. Instead, make a commitment to become the kind of person who acts even when motivation is low, confidence is missing, and circumstances are imperfect. Discipline will carry you where motivation cannot. Remember this. Your biggest competition is not other people. Itandapos. It's the voice inside you that keeps saying, "Anquat, not today." Anquat. Defeat that voice, and you unlock a level of potential you never thought possible. Kill your excuses before they kill your dreams, because the life you andapos imagined is waiting on the other side of the decision to begin. Excuses rarely arrive wearing the face of failure. They usually appear as comfort, caution, or common sense. They tell you that you andapos, waiting for the right time, that you andapos, not ready yet, that you need more experience, more money, more confidence, or better circumstances. On the surface, these thoughts seem reasonable. They dawn and a post feel dangerous because they promise to protect you from disappointment, rejection, or embarrassment, but what they are really protecting is your comfort zone. Every excuse creates the illusion of safety while quietly pulling you farther away from the future you truly want. The greatest danger is that excuses don't andapos stop your dreams overnight. They destroy them little by little, one postponed decision, one missed opportunity, and one forgotten promise at a time. Think about how many dreams are left unfinished, not because people lacked talent, but because they convinced themselves they would start tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and eventually next year. Time keeps moving whether you act or not. While excuses are making you comfortable with staying where you are, your potential is slowly fading into regret. Every day you spend explaining why you can andapos begin is another day your dream remains exactly where it was yesterday. Success does nandapos disappear because of one bad decision. It disappears because of hundreds of small excuses repeated consistently over time. Excuses also shape your identity. The more often you avoid action, the more you begin to believe that avoiding action is simply who you are. You stop seeing yourself as someone capable of growth and start identifying with your limitations. You tell yourself you andapos, you're not disciplined enough, not confident enough, or not lucky enough. Speak. Speak eventually, those thoughts become beliefs, and those beliefs influence every decision you make. Instead of asking, "Anquat, how can I make this happen?" Anquat, you begin asking, "Anquat, why would this ever work for me?" Anquat, that shift in thinking is dangerous because it replaces possibility with doubt before you andapos, have even given yourself a chance. Comfort is one of the most attractive traps in life because it asks for nothing from you. It does nandapos, challenge your abilities or demand your courage. It simply encourages you to stay where things feel familiar, but nothing extraordinary has ever been built inside a comfort zone. Growth always requires discomfort. Learning a new skill feels awkward. Starting a business feels uncertain. Changing unhealthy habits feels difficult. Speaking in front of others feels intimidating. Yet every meaningful achievement begins with the willingness to feel uncomfortable long enough to become stronger. Excuses try to convince you that discomfort is a warning sign, when in reality, it is often evidence that you andapos, we're moving in the right direction. Many people spend years comparing themselves to those who have already succeeded, assuming those individuals had fewer obstacles. The truth is that successful people face fear, failure, rejection, and uncertainty just like everyone else. The difference is not that they never hear excuses. The difference is that they refuse to let those excuses make their decisions. They understand that courage is nandapos, the absence of fear, itandapos, choosing action despite fear. They know that waiting until everything feels perfect is another form of procrastination disguised as preparation. Every excuse comes with a hidden cost. Saying you andapos, re too tired today may cost you the opportunity that changes your career. Saying you andapos, re too busy may cost you the skill that transforms your future. Saying you andapos, re not ready may cost you years of valuable experience you could have gained by simply beginning. You rarely notice these costs immediately because missed opportunities don't andapos always announce themselves. They quietly pass by while you andapos explaining why now is nandapos the right time. Looking back years later, many people don't andapos regret trying and failing nearly as much as they regret never trying at all. The future you dream about depends less on perfect conditions and more on the decisions you make consistently. Excuses promise temporary relief, but they create lasting regret. Action may feel difficult in the moment, but it builds confidence, resilience, and momentum. Every time you refuse an excuse and choose progress instead, you prove to yourself that your dreams are stronger than your fears. Over time, those small victories reshape your mindset, strengthen your character, and move you closer to becoming the person you are always capable of being. The biggest obstacle standing between most people and their dreams is not a lack of ability. It is the belief that the perfect time to begin is still somewhere in the future. People convince themselves that they will start when they have more money, more knowledge, more confidence, or more free time. They believe that success belongs to those who begin under ideal circumstances. But the truth is that perfect conditions rarely exist. Waiting for them only delays the life you are capable of building. Every day spent waiting is a day that could have been used to learn, improve, and move one step closer to your goals. The idea of the perfect time is comforting because it removes the pressure to act today. It allows you to believe that your dream is still alive while giving yourself permission to postpone it. It feels responsible to say, unquote, yandapos, I'll start when everything is ready. Unquote. Yet what yuandapos really doing is allowing fear to disguise itself as preparation. Deep down, most people are anapos, waiting because they need more resources. The andapos are waiting because the andapos are afraid of failing, being judged, or discovering that success requires more effort than they imagined. Speak. Waiting becomes a way to avoid discomfort while pretending to be patient. Life has never promised perfect timing. Unexpected challenges will always appear. There will always be bills to pay, responsibilities to handle, problems to solve, and uncertainties to face. If you decide to wait until life becomes easy, you may end up waiting forever. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not the ones who had flawless circumstances. They are the ones who chose to move forward despite imperfect conditions. They understood that progress begins with action, not certainty. Confidence is another thing many people believe they must have before they begin. They think successful people wake up feeling fearless and motivated every day. In reality, confidence is built through action, not before it. The first step often feels uncomfortable because you've never taken it before. The second step feels slightly easier. With every challenge you overcome, your confidence grows stronger. If you wait to feel completely confident before starting, you'll never experience the actions that actually create confidence. Growth is earned through experience, and experience only comes from beginning. Perfectionism is another hidden reason people delay their dreams. They want every detail planned, every skill mastered, and every outcome guaranteed before taking action. But perfection is an impossible standard. Even the most successful businesses, careers, and personal achievements started with mistakes, uncertainty, and countless lessons learned along the way. Those who insist on perfect beginnings often never begin at all. Those who accept imperfect starts give themselves the opportunity to improve over time. Think about how much can change in a single year if you commit to consistent action instead of endless preparation. A person who starts learning today will know far more 12 months from now than someone who spent the same year planning. Someone who begins exercising today will become healthier than someone still researching the perfect workout routine. Someone who launches an idea with imperfections will gain real-world experience while others continue making excuses. Small actions repeated consistently create remarkable transformations, while endless waiting produces nothing but frustration. Every successful journey begins before you feel completely ready. The first conversation may be awkward, the first attempt may fail, the first project may not meet your expectations. But each attempt teaches you something that books, videos, and planning alone never can. Progress comes from participation, not observation. Every mistake becomes valuable because it moves you closer to mastery. Every setback becomes a lesson that strengthens your ability to succeed next time. Time is the one resource that can never be recovered. Money lost can be earned again. Opportunities missed can sometimes return. Skills can always be learned. But the days spent waiting for perfect timing are gone forever. Imagine looking back years from now, not wishing you had more talent, but wishing you had started sooner. That regret is far heavier than the temporary fear of beginning today. Your future is shaped by what you choose to do now, not by what you hope to do someday. Dreams are not built on perfect moments. They are built on ordinary days when people decide to take one more step despite uncertainty. The right time is not something you discover. It is something you create through commitment, courage, and consistent action. Every moment you choose progress over procrastination is proof that your dreams matter more than your excuses, and that decision has the power to change the direction of your entire life. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most powerful decisions you will ever make. Speak It is the moment you stop waiting for someone else to rescue you, stop blaming your circumstances, and start realizing that your future is shaped by the choices you make every day. Responsibility is not about pretending life is always fair or that obstacles don't endapos that exist. Itandapos, about understanding that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. The moment you accept this truth, you stop giving away your power and begin taking ownership of your direction. Many people spend years blaming their lack of progress on their past, their environment, their family, their finances, or the opportunities they never received. While these challenges may be real, they should never become permanent excuses. Blame may offer temporary comfort because it shifts the burden away from you, but it also takes away your ability to change your situation. If someone else is always responsible for your life, then someone else also controls your future. That mindset keeps you stuck because it teaches you to wait instead of act. Growth begins when you stop asking, and quote, whose fault is this? And quote, and start asking, and quote, what can I do next? And quote. Responsibility also means accepting that your daily habits create your future. Every decision, no matter how small, is shaping the person you are becoming. The books you read, the conversations you have, the way you spend your time, the food you eat, and the effort you give to your work all contribute to the life you will experience tomorrow. Success is rarely the result of one extraordinary decision. It is usually the outcome of hundreds of ordinary choices made consistently over time. When you recognize this, you stop looking for shortcuts and begin focusing on building better habits. Owning your life requires honesty. It means looking at yourself without making excuses. Itandapos, easy to point out the mistakes of others, but real strength comes from identifying the areas where you need to improve. Perhaps Yuandapos have been procrastinating. Maybe Yuandapos been afraid to take risks. Maybe Yuandapos been waiting for motivation instead of creating discipline. These truths may be uncomfortable, but honesty is the foundation of transformation. You cannot improve what you refuse to acknowledge. Responsibility begins with the courage to face reality, even when itandapos, difficult. One of the greatest benefits of taking responsibility is that it changes your mindset from victim to creator. Victims believe life happens to them. Creators believe they have the ability to influence what happens next. This does nandapos mean everything will always go your way. Failure, setbacks, and disappointment are part of every meaningful journey. But responsible people don and appost allow these experiences to define them. Instead, they ask what lesson can be learned and how they can come back stronger. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow rather than a reason to quit. Responsibility also strengthens your confidence. Every time you solve a problem instead of avoiding it, you become more capable. Every difficult conversation you choose to have, every commitment you keep, and every obstacle you overcome reinforces the belief that you can handle whatever comes your way. Confidence is nandapos, something you andapos reborn with. Itandapos, built by consistently proving to yourself that you can be trusted to do what needs to be done, even when itandapos is uncomfortable. There will always be things outside your control. You cannot control the economy, the opinions of other people, unexpected setbacks, or the timing of certain opportunities, but you can control your attitude, your effort, your preparation, and your willingness to keep moving forward. Focusing on what you can control gives you energy, while obsessing over what you cannot control only creates frustration. The people who achieve lasting success understand this difference. They invest their time and attention where it can actually make a difference. Speak. Taking responsibility also inspires those around you. People naturally trust and respect individuals who own their actions instead of making excuses. Leaders are not people who never make mistakes. They are people who admit their mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward with integrity. When you consistently take ownership of your decisions, you become someone others can depend on. More importantly, you become someone you can depend on. The life you want will never be built by waiting for perfect circumstances or hoping someone else changes your situation. It will be built by making the difficult decisions, accepting the uncomfortable truths, and choosing progress over excuses every single day. Responsibility is not a burden that limits your freedom. It is the key that unlocks it. The moment you stop blaming the world and start building your future with intention, you discover that the greatest power you possess has been within you all along. Motivation is a powerful feeling, but it is also one of the most unreliable forces you can build your life around. Some mornings you wake up feeling energized, inspired, and ready to conquer every challenge. Other days, that excitement disappears without warning. If your progress depends only on how motivated you feel, your results will always rise and fall with your emotions. This is why so many people start strong but struggle to stay consistent. They mistake temporary excitement for long-term commitment. Real success is not built by people who feel motivated every day. It is built by people who keep showing up even on the days they don't andapos feel like it. Discipline is different because it doesn't andapos ask how you feel before taking action. It asks what needs to be done and encourages you to do it anyway. Discipline understands that your goals are more important than your mood. It reminds you that feelings change, but the consequences of your actions remain. Every time you choose to act despite discomfort, you strengthen your character. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust in your own ability. That trust becomes the foundation of lasting confidence and personal growth. Many people wait for the perfect wave of inspiration before they begin working toward their dreams. They tell themselves they will start exercising when they feel motivated, begin studying when they are in the right mood, or launch their project when they feel confident enough. The problem is that motivation rarely arrives when you need it most. It often appears after you andapos already started. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates motivation. The hardest part is almost always taking the first step. Once you andapos moving, your mind begins to adjust, and the task becomes easier than you imagined. Discipline is built through small, repeated actions rather than dramatic moments of determination. Waking up at the same time each day, completing your work before distractions take over, keeping your commitments, and finishing what you start may not seem exciting, but these simple habits create extraordinary results over time. Success is rarely the result of one massive effort. It is the product of countless ordinary decisions made consistently. Every small action is like placing another brick in the foundation of the person you are becoming. There will always be days when life feels difficult. You will experience stress, disappointment, fatigue, and setbacks. During those moments, motivation often disappears completely if you have not developed discipline, itandapos, easy to quit or delay your goals until things feel easier. But disciplined people understand that difficult days are often the most important ones. Showing up when itandapos, inconvenient, builds resilience. Continuing when progress feels slow develops patience. Finishing what you started, despite obstacles, proves that your commitment is stronger than your excuses. Discipline also protects you from making decisions based on temporary emotions. Speak. Feelings are constantly changing. One bad day can make you question a dream you've spent years building. One failure can convince you that you're not capable. One criticism can make you doubt your abilities. Discipline keeps you grounded by reminding you that your purpose is greater than today's emotions. Instead of reacting to every feeling, you remain focused on the bigger picture and continue moving forward. One of the greatest rewards of discipline is freedom. At first, discipline may seem restrictive because it requires structure, sacrifice, and consistency. But over time, it creates opportunities that would never exist otherwise. Financial freedom comes from disciplined spending and investing. Physical health comes from disciplined habits. Strong relationships come from disciplined communication and commitment. Professional success comes from disciplined learning and consistent effort. What feels difficult today often becomes the reason you enjoy greater freedom tomorrow. Discipline also transforms your identity. Every time you follow through on your commitments, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop identifying as someone who gives up easily and start becoming someone who finishes what they begin. This shift in identity is incredibly powerful because your actions naturally align with the person you believe you are. Instead of constantly searching for external motivation, you rely on the internal standard you've created for yourself. You no longer need to feel inspired to do the work because doing the work has become part of who you are. The most successful people are not necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They are often the ones who mastered the ability to remain consistent long after the excitement faded. They understood that motivation may help you begin, but discipline is what carries you across the finish line. Every day you choose action over excuses, consistency over comfort, and commitment over convenience, you become stronger than the voice telling you to quit. In the end, discipline is not about forcing yourself to suffer. It is about choosing the future you want over the comfort you have today, one decision at a time. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions a person can experience, but it is also one of the most misunderstood. Most people see fear as a signal to stop, to turn back, or to avoid taking risks. They assume that if they feel afraid, it means they are not ready or that they are moving in the wrong direction. In reality, fear often appears when you are standing at the edge of growth. It shows up before big opportunities, meaningful changes, and life-changing decisions. The problem is not that fear exists. The problem is allowing fear to make your decisions. The moment you learn to turn fear into forward movement, you unlock a level of strength that most people never discover. Every worthwhile goal comes with uncertainty. Starting a business, changing careers, speaking in front of an audience, pursuing a dream, or stepping into a leadership role will always involve risk. There are no guarantees of success, and that uncertainty creates fear. But if you wait until fear disappears, you may spend your entire life standing still. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to keep moving even when fear is present. It is choosing action over comfort and possibility over regret. Fear has a unique way of creating imaginary obstacles. Before you even begin, your mind starts painting pictures of failure. It tells you that people will judge you, that you are not talented enough, that you might embarrass yourself, or that everything could go wrong. Most of these fears never become reality, yet they still have the power to stop people from trying. The human mind often exaggerates danger because it is designed to keep you safe. However, the same instinct that once protected people from physical threats can now prevent them from taking the risks necessary for personal growth. Learning to recognize this pattern allows you to separate real danger from imagined limitations. One of the most effective ways to overcome fear is through action. Fear grows stronger when you avoid it, but it becomes weaker every time you face it. Think about the first time you learned to drive, gave a presentation, or tried something completely new. It probably felt uncomfortable at first. Your heart raced, your hands shook, and you questioned whether you could do it. Yet with every attempt, your confidence increased because experience replaced uncertainty. The same principle applies to every challenge in life. Action builds familiarity, and familiarity reduces fear. Fear can also become a powerful source of information if you learn to listen to it correctly. Sometimes fear reveals what truly matters to you. You rarely feel deeply afraid of something that has no importance in your life. The dreams that excite you the most often frighten you the most because they carry the possibility of failure, but they also carry the possibility of extraordinary success. Instead of asking, "Why am I afraid?" ask yourself, "What does this fear reveal about what I truly want?" That question transforms fear from an enemy into a guide pointing toward growth. It is important to understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey toward success. Many people fear making mistakes because they believe failure defines their worth. In truth, every setback teaches lessons that success never could. Each mistake improves your judgment, strengthens your resilience, and prepares you for greater opportunities. The only real failure is allowing fear to stop you from trying in the first place. A person who takes action and learns from mistakes will always move further than someone who remains trapped in endless preparation. Another powerful way to turn fear into forward movement is by focusing on the next step instead of the entire journey. Looking at a huge goal all at once can feel overwhelming, but breaking it down into one small action makes it manageable. You don't have to know every answer before you begin. You only need enough courage to take the next step. As you move forward, clarity replaces confusion, confidence replaces doubt, and momentum replaces hesitation. Every small victory reminds you that fear loses its power when it is challenged consistently. The people you admire most are not fearless individuals. They have simply learned to act despite their fears. They understand that comfort rarely creates greatness. They know that every meaningful achievement requires stepping into the unknown. While others wait for certainty, they move forward with commitment. That decision changes everything. Every time you choose progress over panic, action over avoidance, and purpose over hesitation, you become stronger than the fear trying to hold you back. Fear will always have a voice, but it does not have to have the final word. The future belongs to those who acknowledge their fears, face them with determination, and keep walking toward the life they were created to build. Dreams are fragile in the beginning. They don't disappear because someone tells you they are impossible or because life becomes difficult. More often, they fade because they are neglected. A dream without daily action slowly turns into nothing more than a wish. Many people spend years talking about the life they want to build, the business they want to start, the book they want to write, or the person they want to become. They have passion, ideas, and ambition, but they fail to take consistent action. As time passes, excitement fades, responsibilities grow, and the dream that once felt so alive becomes a distant memory. The greatest way to protect your dreams is not by thinking about them constantly, but by taking meaningful action every single day. Daily action may seem small, but it has incredible power. Reading 10 pages of a book every day may not feel significant, but after a year, you will have gained knowledge that changes the way you think. Exercising for 30 minutes each day may not transform your body overnight, but over months and years, it builds strength, health, and confidence. Saving a little money regularly may seem insignificant, but consistency creates financial stability over time. Success is rarely created by one extraordinary effort. It is built through ordinary actions repeated with extraordinary consistency. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they need to make massive progress every day. This belief often leads to disappointment because no one performs at their best all the time. Some days you will feel energetic and accomplish a great deal. Other days your progress may be slow. What matters is not the size of Torayandapos as achievement, but the commitment to keep moving forward. Even the smallest step is more valuable than standing still. Momentum grows through consistency, not perfection. Daily action also protects your dreams from fear and doubt. When you spend too much time thinking without acting, your imagination often creates problems that don't exist. You begin questioning your abilities, worrying about failure, and comparing yourself to others. But the moment you take action, your focus shifts from fear to progress. Instead of asking whether you can succeed, you begin discovering what actually works. Action gives you feedback, experience, and confidence that endless planning never can. Every completed task, no matter how small, reminds you that your dream is becoming reality one step at a time. There will be days when motivation disappears. You may feel tired, discouraged, or frustrated because results are taking longer than expected. This is where many people give up. They expect success to happen quickly, and when it does not, they assume they are on the wrong path. But meaningful achievements require patience. A tree does not grow overnight, and neither does a successful life. The work you do today may not show immediate results, but every effort is strengthening the foundation beneath the surface. Just because progress is invisible does not mean is not happening. Protecting your dreams also means protecting your time. Every day presents choices about where your attention will go. Distractions are everywhere. Endless scrolling, unnecessary arguments, negative influences, and unproductive habits quietly steal the hours that could have been invested in your future. Your dreams deserve your best energy, not the leftovers after everything else has taken your focus. Every time you choose learning over distraction, discipline over comfort, and purpose over procrastination, you reinforce your commitment to the future you want. Another important part of daily action is keeping promises to yourself. Every goal begins with a decision, but it grows through repeated commitment. When you promise yourself that you will practice a skill, complete a task, or improve in some way, following through builds trust in your own character. Over time, this trust becomes confidence. You no longer wonder whether you are capable because your daily actions have already answered that question. You become someone who finishes what they start and keeps moving regardless of circumstances. It is easy to admire successful people after they achieve remarkable results, but what often goes unnoticed are the thousands of ordinary days that made those achievements possible. Behind every accomplishment are countless mornings of discipline, evenings of hard work, moments of sacrifice, and decisions to continue when quitting would have been easier. Greatness is not created in one dramatic moment. Speak. It is created in quiet moments when no one is watching, through choices that seem small but eventually change everything. Your dreams are not protected by hope alone. They are protected by your willingness to take action when no one is applauding, when progress feels slow, and when the finish line is still far away. Every page you write, every lesson you learn, every workout you complete, every skill you practice, and every challenge you overcome becomes another brick in the foundation of your future. Dreams don't survive because they are powerful ideas. They survive because someone is willing to work for them every single day. The life you imagine is built one action at a time. And every day you choose progress, you prove that your dreams are worth fighting for. As you leave today, remember this. Your dreams are not waiting for perfect conditions. They are waiting for your decision. Every excuse you keep alive weakens your future, but every action you take, no matter how small, brings your vision closer to reality. The battle has never been between you and the world. It has always been between the voice that says, "I can't," and the courage that answers, "I'll try anyway." There will be difficult days. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and fear. But don't let temporary struggles convince you to abandon a permanent dream. Replace excuses with responsibility. Replace hesitation with action. Replace fear with faith in your ability to grow. The person you want to become is built by the choices you make when no one is watching. Years from now, don't look back wondering what could have happened if you had only started. Look back with pride, knowing you chose courage over comfort, discipline over distraction, and progress over perfection. Your future is being written by what you do today. Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. So stand up. Believe in your potential. Silence every excuse that tells you to wait. Take the first step, then the next, and keep moving forward no matter how slow the journey feels. Because dreams don't die from impossible odds. They die from endless excuses. Kill your excuses before they kill your dreams. Your time is now. Your opportunity is now. Your future begins with the decision you make today.